everyone. So this is going to be the Q&A number 2. I'm just going to continue to answer questions that you guys comment down below, and just answer these questions while I'm, on a little break from work for a little bit, because I'm going to get back to work after I finish this video. Anyways, so let's see. The first question is from Felipe and Olive Oil Hikes. Question on the Lunar Solo. The new version of the Hornet 2-person wet through quickly, so I'm taking the Lunar Solo on my PCT attempt. How did you like the Lunar Solo? So I took the Lunar Solo on the entire PCT in 2019. So 2019 was a very wet year, very high snow year. So I was hiking in snow almost the entire time. So it worked perfect for me. I was happy with it. Yeah, so I was snowed on constantly, rained on constantly on the PCT in 2019. So I personally love the Lunar Solo. You just have to make sure you pitch it right and set it up correctly, and it'll work perfectly fine. So I took it out in the Sierra. I'll add videos in here to show you guys how I use it out there. So I used it in the Sierra when it was snowing on us big time. I used it in Oregon, and it just worked perfect for me. But like I said, you have to go out and see what's comfortable for you. The Lunar Solo might not work for you, but it worked for me. Through snow, through rain, the wind. Yeah, the Lunar Solo is great. I personally would think that it's for it's like a one-person tent. You can't add, squeezing somebody else in the tent would be a little hard and tricky, but you could do it. Yeah, so Lunar Solo is great. I'd go with it for sure. But like I said, go out there and test it out yourself and see how you like it, because you know me, I'm comfortable with crazy conditions, and yeah, some people aren't comfortable with what I'm comfortable with. So yeah, the Lunar Solo worked great for me on the PCT. So yeah, I definitely would recommend taking a Lunar Solo on the PCT. So let's move on to the second question. DW asked, greatest fear on the trail, scariest thing so far on any trail, favorite piece of gear. So let's see, greatest fear on the trail. I would probably have to say dehydration. So, I'm constantly drinking water all the time. So I think my greatest fear is to not have water and, get to a water cache and somebody drink it all or something like that. Like when I'm out on trail in a few weeks, when I get to the water caches, I hope that there's water there. That's a fear of mine. Somebody gets there and steals water, even though you're supposed to only have a certain amount of water. So that's a fear. But it's not. But on every other section, it's never a fear of mine, because I plan accordingly, and I always camel up. I carry enough water all the time. So the only section that is, going to be a little scary and a little nerve-wracking is getting from water cache to water cache on the CDT, because there isn't any water out there. So that's the only section where it's going to be a little, I'm going to be a little nervous getting up to every water cache, hoping that there's water there, even though I did pay for somebody to go out there and fill the water caches up for me. But you never know. There might be somebody, hiking ahead of me who just doesn't care and drinks all the water, and, doesn't save it for everybody else. So yeah, that's this section I'm a little nervous about, but you know, I'll get through it. I always do. So that's that. Scariest thing so far on any trail. There's I think the one thing that comes to mind when I think of scariest thing that's happened on trail where my heart was racing is the mountain lion encounter. So on the PCT in 2019, I was hiking around Mount Shasta. I was hiking into, where was I hiking into? Dunsmuir, yeah. I was hiking into Dunsmuir, Mount Shasta area, and I was just recording, just woke up. I had just woke up. I turned around the corner. I was like gonna record and just have a, record for YouTube. And just la 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 down the trail. I look ahead and I see the bridge ahead, and I'm like, what is that? Is that like a dog? And then I see a tail swing, and I'm like, oh no. So my first reaction was to back up a little bit, but no, don't do that. You gotta stand your ground. But the mountain lion had not seen me yet. So I just stood there like, what is that? I was just so shocked. But yeah, once it saw me, I stopped, stood my ground, yelled, got as big as I could. And the mountain lion was like, oh, I didn't see you there, and ran off. So I only had a few more miles till town. So I was perfectly fine. I made sure to keep looking behind me, and I was aware of my surroundings the entire time. But yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. I am so glad I got to experience that and see that mountain lion. It was beautiful, but definitely got my heart racing. Yeah, so that was probably the scariest thing on trail for me, but it was an awesome experience. So I'm glad I got to experience that. And favorite piece of gear, I don't know if I can answer that question. I'm a gear nerd, and I love lots and lots of gear. I try out so many different types of gear, so that's a hard question. I can name off so many pieces of gear that I love. So I don't know if I'm going to answer that. Yeah, that's a hard one for me. Okay, so let's move on to the third question. Karen asked, what has been your most challenging, scariest experience on the trail? And after Triple Crown is done, what are your future plans? So, I explained the scariest experience on trail, the mountain lion encounter. But the most challenging experience on trail for me, there's so many different challenges on trail that I've experienced, but pushing through the PCT with all that snow I hiked through in 2019 was such a challenge. I'd post hole every step, and it was like that almost the entire way. But I pushed through, I made it through. The views it was all worth it. All the screaming and yelling when I'm, post-holing every step and, getting really frustrated. It was just all worth it in the end. It was beautiful the entire way. It was really tough though. I struggled some days mentally, just like, oh, I'm so tired of just, pushing all day, but only getting, sometimes 5 to 8 mile days done. I think one day, I got, I hiked all day, but I only hiked like 4 miles. But, it was just all worth it. It was so beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited to get back into the snow, hiking into that kind of snow again on the CDT. So that's exciting. So that was probably the most challenging experience, other than like Maine and New Hampshire was also a challenging experience on trail. That's like rock climbing, it's not, People think the AT is like, oh, no, the AT, it was like rock climbing sometimes. Like, I had to throw my pack up and pull myself up, actually pull myself up the trail. So, yeah, that was challenging as well. Every trail has its different challenges, so like the Florida Trail, the road walking just, it got so boring and tiring after a while. So that was challenging. Yeah, like I said, every trail has its differences and different challenges, but I think the most challenging thing for me was pushing through the Sierra, and the entire PCT was just covered with snow and just pushing through, but I knew I was always going to make it because I was never going to quit. The PCT, I could live on that trail for the rest of my life. It's so beautiful. It's the best trail out there. That's what my opinion. I love the PCT. But yeah, that was very challenging. 3-mile days, geez, all day of hiking. But like I said, also New Hampshire and Maine, that was challenging also. You're rock climbing, you're not hiking. Psh. Anyways, yeah, so that's that. And you asked, and after Triple Crown is done, what are your future plans? So I would love to hike for the rest of my life and share with you guys all my journey, adventures and my whole journey. But someday I'm gonna have to settle down and get to work. I can't do this for the rest of my life. It would be awesome if I could do it for the rest of my life. But I don't have the money to do that for the rest of my life, and it just all depends. I would love to hike the TA in New Zealand. I would love to hike the Arizona Trail. I would love to hike the, Pacific Northwest Trail. I would love to hike, I can name so many trails that I've loved to hike. But it all comes down to funds and time, and, like I said, I'd love to hike for the rest of my life. That's the dream, right? We'll see though. I'm gonna need to get back to Amazon when I come back after the CDT and get to work. It also just depends on how much money I spend out on the CDT. Who knows? I might hike another trail right after the CDT. Like I said, it just all depends on the funds I have. So stay tuned. Who knows? Maybe mid-CDT hike, I announce another long distance trail that I'm gonna hike. So I'm gonna answer one more question. Music Vids Life asked, how can you walk so many miles? So, so this question comes up a lot for me. So like I said earlier in the other video, when I get to camp, I'm not there to sit around and hang around the campfire, and that's not how I enjoy hiking. I enjoy getting up and hiking, eating my breakfast really quick, like a little snack, getting up and going. So I'm always moving 3 miles an hour. That's like the slowest I go on trail that doesn't have snow, or the terrain is nice and easy to get through. So it's always 3 miles an hour. I get up to 3.5, 3.7, sometimes 4. I'm 5'11", so I have longer legs, can go a little faster than some people can. But yeah, so I don't take breaks really. I'm always hiking. I'm eating my lunch while I'm hiking, so it's always like a snack, or if it's a tuna wrap, then I make it really quick and I get moving. So I'm never really stopping. I want to see as much as I can throughout the day, and so I'm never really sitting and taking a break anywhere. I'm always walking. So that's how I could get my, big mile days. I could get the 30, 40, 50, 60 mile days done. Yeah, so, that's it. 3 miles an hour at the least. Just depending on the terrain. And the highest is like walking is like 3.74. So yeah, it's just a different type of hiking style. Some people would not enjoy the way I hike because I don't take many breaks. I'm always just hiking. Yeah, so I guess it's just, you have to figure out how you enjoy hiking, and if you enjoy your breaks, then the bigger mile days is going to be a lot harder because you'll have to go a lot faster to get, the miles done. But yeah, so I'm always doing about 3 miles an hour, 3.5, and I just hike all day. So there's the answer to that one. Anyways, so that's all the questions I'm going to answer for today. Thanks for watching, and thank you for the support. And like I said, just comment below and I'll answer any questions you guys have before I head out on the CDT. Like I said, I'm going to post a gear video just before I leave for the CDT. So expect that. Anyways, I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, and thanks for all the support, you guys. Bye.